Don't scream.
Jesse!
There's a dark corner of horror cinema most people won't dare touch, and you're about to step into it. These are the films so twisted, disturbing, and relentless that surviving them once is more than enough. From scenes burned into your brain to endings that leave you hollow, these 10 brutal nightmares will push you to the edge and make you wonder why you ever pressed play. Number 10, Trauma.
¿Quiere contarte la mamá?
لا طبعا no.
In the remote countryside of Chile, 4 women seeking a weekend of escape find themselves trapped in a nightmarish spiral of violence after crossing paths with a sadistic ex-soldier and his equally twisted son. What begins as a quiet retreat quickly mutates into a relentless struggle for survival, as the men's cruelty dredges up the lingering shadows of Chile's darkest historical wounds. No one is safe as the attackers unleash a storm of brutality, each act steeped in a past soaked with blood and unchecked power. The air grows heavy with dread, the isolation pressing in like a suffocating fog, and every door seems to open into another waking horror. The film is not just a descent into human depravity. It is an unflinching gaze into the scars left behind when evil is allowed to breed unchecked, a place where mercy is long dead and hope rots in the dirt. Number 9, The Human Centipede.
Wahnsinnig! Her, kommst du her!
Deep in the lonely woods of Germany, 2 stranded American tourists stumble upon a secluded villa, seeking help after their car breaks down. Inside waits Dr. Heiter, a once renowned surgeon whose twisted ambitions have rotted into a nightmare obsession. His vision: to surgically join his captive's mouth to backside, forming a single grotesque organism that shares one digestive system. What follows is a suffocating descent into bodily horror, as screams echo through sterile white walls and every movement is a reminder of an unholy experiment in control. The air is thick with antiseptic and madness, the doctor's every word dripping with a cold, clinical precision that turns flesh into a canvas for cruelty. The film pushes the boundaries of endurance, crafting a claustrophobic chamber of suffering where escape is as impossible as forgetting what you've seen. Number 8, Artroz.
Yo dudo mucho que seas una víctima. Eres un pin.
Está en lastimarlos, en lacerarlos.
On the rain-slicked streets of Mexico City, a routine traffic stop spirals into a hellish discovery when police uncover a camera filled with footage too disturbing to comprehend. What begins as a simple arrest unravels into a visual confession of unspeakable crimes, torture, mutilation, and the dark psychology of 2 men whose lives are steeped in cruelty from birth. Each recovered tape peels back another layer of depravity, revealing a city's underbelly where violence is both currency and language. The grainy images feel almost alive, pulsing with the energy of their captor's rage, dragging viewers deeper into a world that has abandoned all morality. The film is a raw, unflinching descent into the anatomy of evil, where the camera never looks away and every frame feels like a wound that refuses to close. Number 7, The Girl Next Door.
Stop! Hey, David! Come on! Stop! English! Stop! English! Please leave me alone! I'm scared! Ow! What the hell?
In a quiet suburban neighborhood in the 1950s, innocence curdles into something monstrous when orphaned sisters Meg and Susan are sent to live with their Aunt Ruth. Behind her front door, Ruth rules her home with cruelty, turning her basement into a prison where Meg becomes the target of escalating abuse, both from Ruth and the local boys she manipulates. What begins with taunts and petty torments soon spirals into a nightmare of captivity, humiliation, and unspeakable violence, all hidden in plain sight behind picket fences and friendly smiles. The air is heavy with the tension of a community's willful blindness, the walls closing in as hope fades. The film is a chilling reminder that real horror often wears a familiar face, and the worst monsters are sometimes the ones living right next door. Number 6, Cruel Summer.
Why'd you have to come here, of all places?
On the edge of a quiet countryside, a teenage boy with autism embarks on a solo camping trip, seeking the peace of nature and the comfort of solitude. But his summer refuge becomes a hunting ground when 3 strangers, driven by jealousy, lies, and blind rage, track him down. What follows is a slow and merciless pursuit through open fields and shadowed woods, the safety of civilization fading with each step. The daylight offers no comfort, only exposing every desperate movement, every breathless attempt to escape. The tension tightens like a noose, the cruel game escalating into acts that strip away any illusion of humanity. Cruel Summer is a stark, unnerving portrait of how ordinary malice can spiral into irreversible tragedy under the glaring sun. Number 5, a darker reality.
I'm gonna deal with you later.
I butchered my grandmother in this very tub.
In a cold, windowless basement, 13 women wake to find themselves prisoners in the clutches of a sadistic killer known only as the Ghost. Each victim is chosen for reasons that remain shrouded in malice, forced to endure unspeakable acts for the amusement of unseen spectators. As the hours crawl by, Detective Alex Belasco and criminal profiler Jesse Metcalf race to track down the monster's lair, uncovering a trail of mutilation and madness. The women, bound by fear and desperation, must navigate a psychological maze where every move could seal their fate. Shadows cling to the walls, screams echo like ritual chants, and the air itself feels heavy with death. The film drags viewers into a grim and unrelenting underworld where cruelty is currency and survival is a gamble few win. Number 4, the strange thing about the Johnsons. Behind the polished veneer of a loving family home, a grotesque secret festers, poisoning every smile, every shared meal, every gesture of affection. The Johnsons appear perfect from the outside, respected father, devoted mother, accomplished son. But within their walls, roles are shattered and boundaries obliterated. Across its 29 haunting minutes, the film unfolds like a slow, suffocating nightmare, each scene twisting the knife deeper. What begins as a quiet, unsettling undercurrent swells into a torrent of manipulation and abuse. As the years pass, the lies grow heavier, bending the very definition of love into something monstrous. Directed by Ari Aster, the film is an unflinching, deeply uncomfortable portrait of how evil can thrive in plain sight, smiling for the camera while the walls silently scream. Number 3, Martyrs.
La semaine à l'usine.
From its opening moments, Martyrs plunges into a relentless storm of fear, pain, and obsession. 2 young women bound by a shared trauma set out on a path that twists through shadowed corridors of vengeance and madness. Every frame is steeped in cold, clinical dread, where moments of stillness feel as dangerous as the violence they interrupt. The world they inhabit is one of silence broken by sudden brutality, of questions that demand answers no one wants to hear. Director Pascal Laugier crafts a descent that feels inevitable, each scene pressing heavier on the chest, each glance hinting at truths too horrifying to face. There are no safe places here, no comforting lies, only the steady march towards something dark, final, and unforgettable. Number 2, Deadgril.
She's all yours.
In the forgotten corners of a decaying city, 2 high school friends stumble upon something in the depths of an abandoned asylum, something that should never have been found. The discovery becomes a dark, festering secret, pulling them into a moral abyss from which there is no return. The peeling walls and flickering lights of the asylum seem to breathe with a life of their own, every shadow stretching too far, every sound lingering a second too long. The deeper they sink, the more the lines blur between desire, power, and the grotesque. Deadgril is an unflinching plunge into the darkness of human impulse, set against a backdrop of rot and ruin where innocence doesn't just die, it's buried. Number 1, a Serbian film. In a bleak, crumbling city, a retired film star is lured back into the industry with promises of one last role. An offer wrapped in wealth and prestige, yet reeking of something far darker. What begins as a mysterious project soon reveals itself as a descent into a labyrinth of exploitation, power, and depravity, where every step forward erases the way back. The air is thick with tension, every set piece a stage for something more twisted than the last. As the cameras roll, morality fractures and the line between acting and reality dissolves into something nightmarishly irreversible. The film is a relentless, deeply disturbing vision of corruption's furthest reaches, an experience designed to haunt long after the screen goes dark.